Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is I am the one and only Maxi here once again, and I'm back for yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos once again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Super Mario 3D All-Stars while we're playing through Super Mario Galaxy for the Nintendo Switch. So, last time, we have basically managed to able to I think, fundamentally speaking, the last time we've left off is the fact that we have managed to collect even more power stars by able to actually explore for the majority of the forms of Deep Dark Galaxy, along with the forms of Dreadnought Galaxy, and of course, we somehow managed able to barely got started with the forms of Melty Molten Galaxy, and of course with the forms of Matter Splatter Galaxy as well. So because of this though, yeah, we are getting pretty close, don't you think? So let's just go ahead and, yeah, we're able to continue things on here, because today for this video is the fact that we're still able to collect even more power stars, and exponentially we're also able to have plenty of time to able to save Princess Peach. So here we go, on to Through the Meteor Storm. So because of this though, and this is our second time we can able to actually deal with the Star Ball segment. So because of this though, well, it wasn't until whenever we get to the very end of this particular mission per se. So as a result of that kind of stuff though, also I just realized about something is the fact that since after all we're going to be mainly focusing on the main missions first of all. Also in addition to that though, we can also decide able to tackle through the Trials of Galaxy basically. So because of this though, usually 3 of them to be more specifically though, so we can pretty much expect that we'll tackle for those as well. So as a result though, just make things a little bit more of a challenge sake of time. So anyway, let's just go ahead and do this very, very tricky 2D section, because sometimes the analog stick can throw you off a bit, just because of the forms of the directionals you have to put up with. So, jeez, I was so close to getting to that launch start, but thanks to that particular meteor rock, it's usually sometimes managed able to knock me back like twice. So, yeah, I wasn't expecting that, huh? So, yeah, a few things we want to explain for this point today, and that is the fact that today's day is of course the 23rd, despite the fact that I somehow accidentally died right there because I wasn't paying attention. So, or maybe I'm just a little bit too reckless at this point today, because relatively speaking, I just want to get the actual certain missions done and finished before we move on to like the next quite a few uploads alike for the majority of the forms of not only that relatively speaking, sense about the fact that exponentially speaking, that sense about the fact that remember when Pac-Man has already mentioned about this ever since in yesterday, that he might able to take a break for his uploading schedule for Donkey Kong Land 3 until specifically this coming Sunday. This is mainly because he's probably going to be going for the hardest aspect about the forms of Donkey Kong Land 3, at least on his own opinion. That's what it has to be by the forms of the time attack segment. So because of this though, because yeah, after obtaining the forms of the final 6 watches, then if you think you're basically done, well, it turns out he's not done yet. So because of this though, you'll probably save the finale video of Donkey Kong Land 3 until specifically this Sunday, because as a result, that it might able to actually just do like, I think he'll try to mention more about it until when that particular day comes, because for the time being, for majority of the forms of tomorrow anyway, then Tiana can able to actually just to carry on doing the forms of The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX for a while, just in case she will able to actually catch up on the forms of more uploading schedules, so that way she will able to actually just wrap things up through everything for the majority of the time. So anyways, let's just go ahead and deal with once again bullet bill guiding ever since in during the forms of the past few missions ago, ever since in Luigi under the saucer and you name the rest. So we can pretty much expect that we will able to bust out the cage open, and that way we'll get us a launch star on top of that. So either way though, let's launch ourselves towards the, well, let's just say the second Star Ball segment, and relatively speaking, this part might be the shortest Star Ball segment in the game, and thus, it might be pretty tricky for those of you who are the casual player out there, because mind you about the fact that I was going to able to go for this nerve-wracking portion where I have to able to pull off a nice little shortcut, so just in case I can able to actually have us as the easiest grasp when it comes to the forms of try to go for that particular segment, so. But there we go, we've pretty much completed that, and everything else goes all fine and dandy and everything. Well, Despite the fact that you have to watch out for this last segment, just because if you aren't careful enough on that last segment, then basically though, you pretty much guaranteed to get screwed, so... But on the upside of this though, is the fact that you still get the checkpoint if you somehow made it to this point, so... There we go, 97 power stars, and I think, fundamentally speaking, we've only got about 23 power stars to go. Well, relatively speaking, it wasn't until whenever we get to the actual, the post-game sequences or something like that. Well, at least I thought so anyway. Alright, so let's head back in here and do the third mission, and that is Fiery Dino Piranha. So in this case though, we're going to be able to fight against with Dino Piranha again, but except this time, it's a different variation. So because of this though, expecting that most people find this boss fight to be a little bit tricky and difficult, mainly because of the forms of that particular multiple phases that he sent us through. So either way though, oh yeah, let's talk about the forms of that specific topic at this point today. Recently, about the fact the matter is though, I think it's possibly tomorrow that, relatively speaking, My Little Pony, a new generation movie on Netflix, will be expected to become 1 year old. So as a result though, I think the last time I've seen the film was actually back in, at the exact same day as when No Time to Die, the James Bond movie, just came out. So as a result, oh, it is possible I can able to go there rather than just utilizing the Sling Star. Okay, that's interesting. Well, mind you, because of the fact that back on the original Wii version of this game, that Piglet just somehow refuses to do that, but I don't mind about letting him doing the forms of the casual play, because obviously Piglet is a brave little thing, so either way though, you can pretty much expect at that point. So anyway, so let's go ahead and launch ourselves with the launch star quickly, so we can able to go for this particular segment right here. And yeah, and that's as far as I can usually think about it. However, whenever I look back on new forms of My Little Pony and New Generation movie, that I have to realize about something about the fact that, well, don't get me wrong, the visual still looks very, very gorgeous, especially noticeable it did manage to came out about last year and stuff like that. Despite the forms of the story, it feels a bit simplified, so because of this though, it's been like Friendship is Magic Parts 1 and 2 all over again, in addition to Equestria Girls, the first film all over again, except that it's basically new characters as well as a new setting. However though, that's relatively speaking though, I think the story is okay, but at least I do enjoy the characters still, along with the forms of the visuals, and I'm not exactly entirely sure about the soundtrack though, although I will say right from the get-go, that I will say Glowing Up is still as one of the greatest music ever, along with Gonna Be My Day, which as a result of that kind of stuff though, I enjoy these soundtracks a lot, although nowhere near as much as the forms of how it does it on the 2017 equivalent, which appears to be, you know, based off from Generation 4, mind you, because, you know, I just love the actual soundtrack of the 2017 movie over the likes of anything else, really, so... At least in terms of bronies out there, so I might be biased when it comes to those things, so... Alright, so it looks like we fight against with Fiery Dino Piranha, easily one of the hardest boss battles in the game for some people, mainly because of the forms of how the fact that, well, every time he runs around the entire planet, and then basically though, he just spreads a lot of fire. So because of this though, the actual attack itself, in order able to deal the damage on Fiery Dino Piranha himself, that is basically, it's kind of like the similar thing as in the regular version of Dino Piranha, but to make that matters even much more difficult, it was actually on the very last hit. So because of this though, you have to be exact to able to actually perform a swing attack right onto that particular tail, and if you achieve that, then you should probably deal with this boss fight in a no time flat sweat. Although, relatively speaking, I have no idea why he's saying things weirdly enough per se, but at least it's something, I guess. And if you think we're about to be done here, before we move on to the forms of the Hungry Lemur stage, in addition to the Trials of Galaxies, well, we've still got one more Daredevil Run mission to go. So, some people seem to say that this is one of the hardest challenges in the game, and luckily I've got enough start bits for now. Oh, wait a second, that I just realized that we're missing on the secret Power Star as well. Yeah, because I somehow accidentally ignore it. But don't worry, we will be back for this. So either way though, first things first though, we need to take care of this mission first. So, and by that time, as soon as we're able to actually do the secret mission as well, then pretty much guarantee we're most able to reach for about 100 power stars. So, Lava Spray, Daredevil Run. Or Lava Spy, Daredevil Run, I should say. I do apologize if my commentary is a little bit slightly iffy again, just because it's hard to able to keep in track of what words I was about to say. So, but regardless of such though, that's, relatively speaking though, there's not much right to home about. So, actually kind of think about it, we've only got about a week left until the 1-year anniversary of No Time to Die's release. So because of this though, yeah, I can't believe that No Time to Die, the actual James Bond film, in this case the final Daniel Craig movie, that almost becomes, well, a year old. So because of that though, oh, I love pulling off some shortcuts like this. Although, mind you, whenever we get to the forms of the second playthrough, in terms of the forms of Super Mario Galaxy game itself, in a 3D All-Stars version, well, I should probably save that conversation until maybe for later. So anyway, let's just go ahead and continue our progressioning there. And of course, the hardest aspect about this particular mission, as to be expected, is this section. So I think I should probably play it safe, as opposed to be like super reckless and stuff. Because obviously I really don't able to go for this entire, not only because this entire mission is kind of difficult, but it's also like a marathon too. So because of that though, just be patient and don't rush things too much. So that's as far as I can usually try to think about this for the sake of time, so. But you know, you get the idea about that. Although this will be the last time we're going to be doing the Daredevil Run missions, well, for a while, because like I said before, until whenever we get to the second playthrough, then basically though, we got able to deal with those again, except with the forms of that different playable character we can select. Mind you, it's a bit padding, like if you try to do the exactly the same missions again, but to be honest with you, it doesn't bother me at all, because most of those missions go down by very, very quickly, assuming if you actually become a little bit more of an expertise, such as myself. So as a result of that kind of stuff though, I always attempt to able to make things a bit faster and quick. So because of this though, because you know, we played the game multiple times in my life, on the forms of multiple versions of the game, either on the Wii, Wii U digital version, and of course recently on the 3D All-Stars compilation, so. But yeah, you get the idea of what I was about to say, so. Anyway, so we need to be fast on this part here, so we can able to actually don't fall into the lava, because if we dare mess things up completely, either touch the lava itself, or in some cases get hurt by the forms of certain enemies and stuff like that, we will be screwed, and there's no checkpoints at all. So, in fact, kind of think about it, this particular mission does remind me of the equivalent to Grandmaster Galaxy from Super Mario Galaxy 2 in some small capacity. Well, mind you, about the fact the matter is though, again, it's been 3 years ago since we've last played Super Mario Galaxy 2, but I digress, so let's just go ahead and I think we should probably do the normal, casual way, rather than doing the hardcore way, unlike in last time that I wasn't exactly paying attention. So either way though, let's just go ahead and, do a backflip onto that particular question mark block, and take a nice little shortcut so we can able to skip certain portions of this particular last portion. So either way though, chances are though, no problemo for me. So, let's obtain the star before that particular firebomb enemy will try to kill me. And there we go. That basically concludes the final Daredevil mission. So, at least until for a while. And with that, it looks like we've only got 99 power stars. Only 21 left to go. So, even then though, we are getting pretty close. In terms of Mario's playthrough anyway, so. Anyway, so let's go and take care of the secret mission now. And because of that though, hopefully it'll make things a little bit more manageable, I guess, so. And that takes place in the forms of the sinking lava spray mission, as far as I'm concerned. And of course, we do need to able to acquire, I would say 80 star bits, as far as I can tell for this point. Solely, well, nowhere near as as much in comparison to the forms of a snack of cosmic proportions mission in Good Egg Galaxy, because you only need to acquire 100 of those star bits in order to progress. So, yeah, that basically explains it. So, Anyway, another thing I would like to explain. Oh god! Oh, jeez, that was close. I almost fell into that particular lava as soon as I able to just speed things up a notch. But anyway, though, yeah, something's worth mentioning that I suppose that I forgot to mention about ever since during the course of this entire Super Mario Galaxy game on the 3D All-Stars version is that not only Phase 5 does manage able to get it announced in terms of the forms of MCU, in this case Marvel Cinematic Universe in terms of films or series, I also forgot to mention there is technically the 6th phase is on its way too. To be more specifically until 2024, all the way up to 2025. Oh jeez Louise, it's kind of scary, I'm not gonna lie. Especially notable about the fact that, well, relatively speaking though, I think I probably should mention more details on that in a moment, because either way though, first off, it's been about a year ago since when the actual September Nintendo Direct during the course of 2021 takes place. Yeah, I'm referring to as the forms of probably one of the greatest Nintendo Directs back in last year in September and 23rd of 2021. Well, mind you, about the fact that originally I was expecting to do the actual, the reaction video for that particular presentation, but unfortunately though, due to time constraints and stuff like that, and on top of all that stuff though, I, was kind of busy during that time, so either way though, because, well, I'm just usually just darn excited for that presentation back in the day. And I do remember that one time about the fact that I was very excited about the forms of quite a lot of announcements during the forms of in last year's September Nintendo Direct. Like there was the Mario Party Superstars information and showing us the forms of 3 new boards, which are Horrorland because of the Halloween is getting closer during that time, and Yoshi's Tropical Island, and also say applies to Woody Woods, which it did somehow manage to able to technically show us at first when the actual game first announced, especially noticeable during the course of that particular promotional art. So, or to be more specifically, a front cover of the game actually. So, and also I do remember that time I was very hyped about the forms of, oh yeah, Burning Tide is the secret mission's name, so I just want to classify that. And guess what? We've reached 100 Power Stars, so only exactly 20 left to go. So, yeah, it's kind of sad that we have to leave the Golden Dome for a while, but that's okay though, because there might be still more to come. So anyways, let's go ahead and feed about 1600 star bits for that hungry Lumba, and I think that'll be the final time we got to do this, specifically for Mario, because, well, as I mentioned this before, if we're doing a second playthrough, then obviously it'll make things a little bit more, well, I don't know about you, but anyway. And this will pretty much activate the final Hungry Luma stage, which appears to be Snow-Capped Galaxy. So hopefully, exponentially, we're gonna be able to explore something a bit more wintry, or something like that. So, Star Bunnies in the Snow. And I think, relatively speaking, this will be the final time we get to do the Star Bunnies hunting, because otherwise, we have to rescue Princess Peach no matter what. But this time around, on the other hand, though, you have to hunt down for 3 of these Star Bunnies as opposed to just 1. So, it makes sense, just to make things up for the challenge. So, either way, though, let's just, you know, get that treasure chest open and prepare ourselves the, well, the hide-and-seek game, again. Although, kind of think about it, the last time we actually did hunt for 3 Star Bunnies was actually at the beginning of the game. That, when you start the game off and you got able to do a tutorial thing, except now that, well, it takes place in a somewhat of a wintry planet, so yeah, I guess that makes it pretty obvious. And of course, you can able to actually use the pointer to get rid of the snow at some points to make things a bit easier for yourself, especially noticeable if you try to hunt down for those specific switches to activate, in addition to one of those Star Bunnies, as you probably already saw. And of course, able to actually just obtain the Fire Flower power-up, so we can able to melt every single snowman as much as we possibly can, and exponentially, we're able to get ourselves the green shell, and knock that particular treasure chest open. Now, there's actually an easy way you can able to catch those Star Bunnies if you're lucky enough, and that's what it appears to be. Remember that particular hole outcodes you'll be activating for? Well, basically though, you can able to actually just to let the actual star bunnies get trapped in the forms of those specific pit traps, or specifically floor traps or something like that. So because of that though, yeah, I always attempt to do it that way. It's kind of hard to do if you're trying to do the actual mission itself normally, because they obviously outrun faster than you. So, or to be more specifically, they hop a little bit further from you. So as a result though, it's definitely a little bit trickier than the other Star Bunny hunting missions. So, or specifically the Star Bunny's hide and seek kind of mission types. So, that is something worth noting for. So, there we go, we basically completed Snow-Capped Galaxy, and I suppose the next 3 missions we're about to be doing next is, of course, the Trials of Galaxies. So, I'm actually really looking forward to able to do those missions again, except the fact that, well, originally I was expecting to be able to do these missions a bit early, but I think I should probably do that until whenever we get to the second playthrough for the better, just because, well, just to make things a little bit more manageable for the sake of time. So thus we haven't exactly launched ourselves in that green launch star for some time until now. So either way though, let's get to it with the forms of Rolling Gizmo Galaxy. So we can probably get this one started first. And relatively speaking though, with this entire stage, it's going to take place in, well, let's just say the 3rd and the final Star Ball stage. So, Gizmos, Gears, and Gadgets. And some people seem to say this is one of the hardest in terms of the Star Ball segments because, well, it's nowhere near as hard as the forms of how it does in some of them from Galaxy 2 per se. But we'll try. Whoa, 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 whoa! I think my controller's gone flipped out. What the heck? Okay, I wasn't expecting that, huh? Anyway though, because unlike in Galaxy 2, where basically one of those challenges you need to do, and that is the fact that you have to collect a certain amount of purple coins in that Rainbow Road kind of pathway, which it is very tough though, I must be honest, because if you mess up at least quite a few times, then obviously you might as well be able to drain lives super fast. But I digress. Okay, let's get to the forms of that specific topic for this point, in terms of the forms of Phase 6. That day, they somehow managed to reveal not 1, but 3 films so far, in terms of the forms of Phase 6. Well, mind you, we're not exactly at that point just yet, though. I mean, seriously, it's gonna be more accurately, it's gonna be like the entire saga of all things when it comes to, like, you know, phases they've got us through. So because of that, though, actually, let me try to focus on this first before we're able to actually mention something related to that kind of stuff, so. But luckily, though, we have somehow managed able to succeed so far anyway. At least I hope so anyway, though, because I really don't able to drain my life super fast or anything, but still, it might actually be a little bit tricky for some people, so. Oh, goodness gracious me. And of course, we have to wait for this particular Dice Cube platform to come over here. And get into the actual hole as we go. And there we go. That's every single of those Star Ball segments in the entire game. So yeah, not too shabby. Well, at least I thought so anyway though, because I almost gonna... Well, except the fact that I accidentally died once just because my controllers got freaked out. Mind you, unfortunately though, I have to use the Pro Controller for the majority of the time. Although, don't get me wrong, it's still comfortable, but jeez, using motion controls like that, it can be very awkward with the Pro Controller, because I think the game tells me to recommend the Joy-Con right controller for the better, because, you know, think of like you're playing the Wii version again, except no need for wired plugged controller, so... You know exactly what I'm referring to as Wii Remote and Nunchuck all together, because, well, back in the Wii version anyway though, I always get myself screwed over with all that Wii Remote and Nunchuck disconnecting problems, with all that the control stick gets all freaked out as soon as I plugged it in and stuff. That's as far as I can think about it, so... Loop-de-swoop Galaxy in the greatest, the Galaxy's greatest wave. I said things a little bit more opposite, didn't I? Well, mind you, the last time we actually did the manta ray segments was actually in the beginning of the game in Terrorist Dome, so expecting that this one might be a little bit harder than the forms of how it does on the first time around, so... But I'm sure we'll still got this anyway, because we've already experienced it already, except the course layout is actually a little bit different, so... Let's get going. So, yeah, let's get to the films of that particular conversation about Phase 6. The 3 films they've confirmed for Phase 6 when it comes to Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that's what have to be by the films of Fantastic Four, which I felt was a little bit interesting choice there, and of course, the biggest films they've got announced, which appears to be Avengers. Yes, I'm referring to as Avengers the Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. And I was like, oh snap. Although, mind you though, about the fact the matter is though, I'm pretty sure it's going to be mainly focusing on new superheroes instead of like the usual, the old superheroes like, well, it's so hard to tell because I'm probably not going to spoil things majorly for those films because, well, we haven't exactly got into 2025 yet. So, I think my guess is the fact that with these 2 films combined, or except with Fantastic Four, because I think Fantastic Four is going to be releasing at some point also in next year as well. Actually, no way. It was actually going to be in 2024, actually. The same year as, let's just say, other films in 2024. Stuff like, well, mind you, I haven't exactly paid attention to all that Marvel news recently, just because it's been, you know, quite a few days, all things considered. But I'm still very, very hyped about these kind of stuff like this, so... At least in terms of the forms of both phases combined or something, so... There we go, we've completed this particular mission, and, well, we only got one more mission left before we dive right into the, well, the actual final level in the game. Not until before we're able to actually complete the game twice within a 120 star count, so... Either way though, let's go and get to it with, well, the green spot on that particular Trials of Galaxies here, such as Bubble Blast Galaxy, so... I think the last time we actually did done the bubble mechanics, and that's what appears to be in, well, in the kitchen dome, so, the electric labyrinth. So in this case, this place is going to be filled to the brim with a lot of electricity around here, and we cannot afford able to touch one of these if you're in bubble form, and because of that though, if you die at any point, you have to restart from the beginning from scratch. So because of that though, because there aren't any checkpoints if you somehow manage to obtain one of those star chips, so... And I think this time around though, as you can tell, I'm actually going to go into the reverse order, because I think as far as I can recall correctly, that we always attempt to do like the actual clockwise, so I think this time around though we'll go for anti-clockwise fashion, so just make things a little bit different for a change when it comes to like specific stuff or like. So anyway, okay, let's get to the forms of how the fact that for another topic in terms of the forms of it's been about a year ago since when the September Nintendo Direct usually takes place, that I still remember about the fact that I was so excited to see the fully fledged 3D Kirby game has been announced, which appears to be Kirby and the Forgotten Land, which it came out to be true after all, and I was very excited about that back in the day. And also on top of all that stuff though, the final fighter for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which it wasn't until during October they revealed Sora was the final fighter for its roster, which is pretty epic in every way imaginable, because I was a huge fan of the Kingdom Hearts game still, and yeah, that basically totally explains it. So, and also I do remember about the fact that one time I was very excited about the second wave of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity expansion pass DLC exists, which appears to be Guardian of Remembrance, and well, despite having exactly touched that game as much, mainly because I was more into other stuff, unfortunately, but I will promise you guys I will be back for it shortly after, I guess. But anyway, and I do remember that one time I was very excited about what appears to be the forms of a free update. Well, actually no way, is it like a free update, or I keep thinking about the forms of that February Direct? I keep thinking about the February Direct for some reason for this year. So, yeah, I do remember I was very excited about the forms of, you know, more information on Metroid Dread. And let's not forget ourselves, the Nintendo 64 and Sega Mega Drive games do usually come onto the Nintendo Switch online membership services. Although, the only drawback with this is, though, it's going to be only on expansive kits. So, and also I do remember that time I was very excited to be able to watch the new trailer for Splatoon 3. And let's not forget ourselves the Super Mario movie details, like the actual voice cast alike. And on top of all that stuff though, with the release date, which unfortunately though, the actual release date it's now changed into 2023 as opposed to this year, probably because of the forms of, well, I don't know what you're able to describe it, because, well, it's been a couple of days since I actually last heard about the forms of the Super Mario Bros. Movie from Illumination Pictures, so, although mainly because I'm still practically waiting for some news to come here, so... Oh, okay, there we go. And I do remember that time that Bayonetta 3 was the last game they showed us, until recently we got the release date for that game as well. Well, at least I thought so, as far as I'm usually concerned with that stuff, so... There we go, we've completed the Trials of Galaxies, and we've got 104 power stars, all things considered. And so far we've got 467 start bits, so even though there's no need for start bits anymore, because, well, it doesn't really matter about the fact that, well, relatively speaking though, we're actually getting pretty close in this for this point, so yeah, I thought so for this point. So, oh jeez, hold on a second guys, because I think my room is actually getting pretty sweaty or something like that, so let me just quickly go ahead and fix something quickly. So, yeah, I apologize for that particular awkward moment right there. That's only mainly because, well... Okay, sorry for this quick air right there, because I need to catch a breeze for a moment, or specifically this cold, cool air breeze in here. So anyways, let's begin the forms of the final frontier, which is the center of the universe. So, yes, Rosalina, I will definitely go and rescue my glorious special one. Alright then, off we go. And of course we got a cinematic cutscene to watch.
Go, Mario.
So yeah, we're just somehow now entering into the Princess Peach's castle. Well, at least it turns out it's now been controlled by Bowser of all things. And here we go, on to Bowser's Galaxy Reactor, the fate of the universe. Probably the most epic mission names of all time, just because, well, this place is so epic. Especially noticeable in terms of that particular music itself as well. So because of that though, yeah. So of course, in this particular level right here is the fact that we always have to be very careful not to fall off and stuff like that, because otherwise, if you fall off the actual, the segment of the level, then you have to go all the way back to the beginning of that particular segment right here, so... While trying to avoid... Whoa! 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 Easy there. So, anyway, let's just go ahead and, be very careful not to get burnt by those fire bars. So, either way though, yeah, we can pretty much expect what this is going. So of course, if you're falling for the original version of the game already, you have to go through a serious amount of obstacles, such as for instance with that particular gravity wall thing right here, as we noticed from that spotlight. And the next planet we're traversing through is the Fire Planet, which certainly is the most dangerous out of them all though, just because you really don't want to get burned so many times. So, and after which though, we get into this icy planet, which we can able to skate along while trying to avoid the actual, the ice planet itself. Although, something's worth mentioning though is the fact that the reason why I don't usually talk over for the actual in-game dialogue with all that text box here and there, well, that's only mainly because somehow, for some reason, my laptop refuses to let me able to get in sync with the actual in-game dialogue and stuff like that, which is kind of unfortunate, but that's only mainly because, well, relatively speaking, that's just an HD thing, so you cannot expect things enough about the fact that sometimes it always lags for every single moment's notice. Oh, for once, I somehow did not get hit right there, which is pretty cool, considering how the fact that back in the day, I was gonna have to take a hit and take the invincibility frames at the same time, because mind you, because of how the fact that, well, relatively speaking, I just... Whoa! Okay. Now, this part is easily the hardest section of the bunch, just because you're gonna have to able to do a lot of, like, you know, just trying to keep up with all that, you know, trying to able to hop onto those platforms as much as quickly as possible, and then if you don't able to actually just to be hasty with this, then basically if that bullet bill trying to strike you out, then basically though, you're probably gonna get wrecked a lot, so... And for once as well, no hits whatsoever, so huzzah for my certain skills. Although mind you, the only time I got hit is by that pesky fireball, but that's okay. Looking for Princess Peach? Too bad, because she's with me. Yeah, for the way the actual size of Bowser Jr. looks, while Princess Peach was actually standing right next to him, it does feel like that he looks a little bit tad bit bigger than Princess Peach though, which I'm not only why pointing out right away. But anyways, let's get to the forms of this particular final phase, or the final section, before we fight against with Bowser himself. Basically, we need to climb up to the staircase once again, except now there's actually a life strom, and the 1-up there as well. Mind you, I probably should be able to pass the actual 1-up mushroom, because, well, let's face it, I've already got a lot of extra lives at this point. Finally. You've got here just in time to see the creation of my galaxy in the center of the universe. Watch and weep. Oh snap, this is huge! From this galaxy I rule a great galactic empire with Peach by my side. It will last forever. I will rule every pitiful corner of the universe. So Mario, as you can see, I got big plans, and stomping you is at the top of my list. Oh, you really think so, Bowser? Well, bring it on, because we got ourselves the epic boss fight in the entirety of not only the entire game, but also with the forms of the entire Mario series in general. Because, let's face it, this boss battle is so epic. Not only because of the forms of the orchestrated music, but it's also about the fact that this battle is divided into 3 phases. The first phase is pretty simple, but just kind of difficult at the same time, because you have to get a lot of emphasis on timing in order to actually just to shake attack right at Bowser as soon as he's able to go into boulder transformation. So because of that though, for the most part, most of his attacks are pretty easy to dodge, but I honestly have no idea. I'm struggling with that particular phase. Mind you, because it's been like, I would say 3 years ago since we actually last went into this phase of this entire battle, because I was busy playing other Switch games recently, so, and every once in a while you're gonna do the same old stuff as the Phantom Power does on the previous 2 Bowser levels, and we move on to the second phase, which, overall, the second phase is actually the easiest of the bunch, because if he goes right near to those green splotchy stuff, you can just simply able to actually just attack the green stuff and then launch it back at him, so that way he'll able to tumble over very easily and do the same thing as per usual. And now we get into the epic and the final phase of this entire fight. We're going inside in this particular planet itself, and on top of that, this planet looks familiar because it's exactly the same planet as we come across into since the previous 2 Bowser levels. And let me tell you, this particular Final Bowser music right here, easily my favorite music in the entire game, just because it's so energetic and epic in almost every way. So yeah, same as usual, just stun him as soon as when his tails got burned, and looks like we're now on to the final hit, so... Because, kind of think about it though. In fact, let me know in the comments down below for the question of the day that I forgot to mention to you about something. What is your absolute favorite in terms of the forms of which specific Final Bowser battles you like the most? Because for me, the best one is easily this, just because, well, the setting is, well, amazing, and I somehow got burned for some reason. But anyways though, so let's just... Oh, it's so close! But all in all, it's pretty easy too. Especially noticeable if you're used to with the other two Bowser levels, but kaboom! He's down, and he's toast. And sure enough, Bowser's defeated. And he's gonna fell right into the actual lava planet, which that pretty much becomes like the most gruesome death. In almost in every single imaginable way. Or I get the feeling he might be able to survive for this, no matter what. But let's not forget ourselves, the 7th and the final Grand Star that has been in there this whole time. It's all sparkly and glorious as ever. And relatively speaking, we're done with this entire stage. And also, I get the strong feeling that once we launch ourselves upwards, there's the cinematic cutscenes to watch.
Huh?
Did you hear the baby stars? These newborns will grow up to become galaxies someday. When stars die, they turn into stardust and scattered across the cosmos. Eventually, that stardust reforms to create a new star, and so the cycle of life continues. But the cycle never repeats itself in quite the same way. So, you'll see.
Welcome! Welcome, new galaxy!
I love that ending, because it's so peaceful as well, especially noticeable. I'm pretty sure everything else restarts itself, so as a result, yeah, there's not much else I can explain, so there it is. There's this stuff credit sequence, despite the fact that there was one little problem. We're not exactly done with the game yet, because if you're following for the original version of the game, on the Wii version most likely, well, there's actually more content along the way. Such as, for instance, I think if you somehow manage to beat Bowser, specifically the final Bowser battle at least once, I believe, that you get yourselves one of those remaining pages for Rosalina's storybook in the actual library itself. And on top of all that stuff though, there will be more power stars to be able to be collecting for. You know exactly what I'm referring to, because do you remember that time when we went into the forms of Gateway Galaxy? At least specifically the second time? Well, remember those purple coins we'll be collecting? Yeah, we're about to be able to doing more of these during some other galaxies to able to go through, so yeah, it will be kind of lengthy though, especially noticeable about the fact that, well, I'll explain more details about that until whenever we get to the next video, during at some point on next Monday specifically. So either way though, yeah, it shows us some very impressive pictures for that Mario exploring through different planetoid to planetoid. So either way though, yeah, it is super impressive. And also I really love the credits music as well, because, well, it almost reminds me of a lot of nostalgia overhauled, like back on the Wii days, as far as I managed to play this a lot back in the forms of by the end of, well, you know what I mean, 2007, and especially I continued to play this game essentially, well, at least specifically during some portions throughout, but anyway, so we got ourselves some pretty, satisfying photos of Mario's power-ups there, and of course the people who made the game is super spectacular with all the voice talents as well as the forms of the voice recording and English script, performance, Mario Galaxy, orchestra, mwah, so beautiful. Because, you know, I really love the soundtrack, along with Galaxy 2 as well, so either way though, yeah, because chances are though, that everyone is still speculating with all that Galaxy 3 shenanigans, but either way though, I just have no idea why people keep talking about Galaxy 3 all of a sudden with all that, well, rumors and leaks, despite I still don't trust leaks and rumors anymore, just because they got pretty stale ever since and during the course of the Switch era. So because of that though, yeah, I basically give up on looking up on leaks and rumors because it's just a waste. It's just a whole bunch of waste of opportunity. But I digress. So, yeah, as I said before, the game itself is not over yet, just because, well, relatively speaking, we have to go through even more power stars to go through, and on top of all that stuff, though, is just the fact that, well, you know exactly what I'm about to explain, so either way, though. And I suppose, relatively speaking though, honestly guys, that's as far as I can try to discuss upon the forms of today. Although mind you about the fact that I do part of the forms of a lot of emphasis on, there are quite a few moments where I have some very awkward commentary moments because unfortunately though my laptop keeps lagging all of a sudden again. So hopefully I'll try to fix that at some point, like exponentially if Pac-Man's gonna go back onto Donkey Kong Land 3, and exponentially when Tiana's going to continue things on in the Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening DX, so, but I digress. The end.
Thank you so much for playing my game.
With pleasure, Mario. So anyways, join us next time for more of Let's Play of Super Mario 3D All-Stars in the Super Mario Galaxy game, is the fact that we're about to take on the Purple Comet challenges, so yeah, all 50 of them to be exact. So I'll see you guys until on Monday. Later, fellas.